you were dropped from junior reps because you were a year young. Is that right? Because logic tells me if a player is making reps and they're a year young, they are probably the player you want more than anyone else.
Yeah, it was it was traumatic at the time, and for any kid, and you know when rugby league is everything, and you know, mum and dad have taken me to every single game growing up. You know, mum's probably one of the craziest supporters. I just remember hearing mum's piercing voice on the sideline, but you know, rugby league was everything, and when you're earmarked to be one of the next big things, it was along with, you know, you had Luke Brannigan, Willie Peters, then there was Braith, and there was myself.
Yep.
And below us was Damon Alitovio, John Sutton. But, you know, when you're around that community and you get dropped from a side, you feel like you've let not only your family down, but the broader community as well. It's like, oh, Reni didn't make it. But, yeah, I tried out with the Matthew Shield team. Billy Gretsch was the coach, and he picked me as the half. The parent complained that I was too young, and I went from there, rang mum, said, Reni's going to be eligible next year. We'll just sit him out for this year. And it hurt me. It hurt me big time. And I held a resentment against South for years after that. And that's probably the reason why I didn't sign with South. It's one of the reasons I didn't sign with South when they came back into the competition.
What it did was deliver you to Canterbury for 02 and I guess a new direction, a new opportunity, but something that defines you now. You are seen as a Bulldog. You went through Flegg, you went through Reggie's, and you did it with a couple of blokes that I guess they went okay as well.
It was the best decision. I don't make many good decisions, Andy, but it was definitely the best decision I'd made in my career. South, just to come back, I did go back and play with South. So I gave footy away. The coaches I didn't play Matthews, SG Ball. Tommy Simpson was the coach. They rang up mum and dad and said, look, we want Ren back in the rep system. I trained the whole preseason of SG Ball, and I think before the first trial or maybe even the first game I pulled out, I was like, no, this ain't for me. I was too absorbed into the beach life by that point.
Yeah.
Rugby league wasn't a priority. I'd been playing since I was 4. I'd made certain rep teams along the way. You know, Dad really pushed me hard, pushed all of my siblings hard into sport. And there was a period where I just thought, you know, what most teenagers do, they rebel against their parents, they rebel against society or life. And I thought, nah, stuff footy, I don't want to play it anymore.
Wow.
When I left school, I went into a plumbing apprenticeship, something I didn't even want to do. It was just either have a roof over your head and have a job or be out on the street. So I just picked up a plumbing apprenticeship through a local friend. And it was about a year into that when I thought, fuck, footy's not plumbing's not for me.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and give footy a crack. And South at the time were out of the competition, but there was a Flegg side.
Yeah.
Played a season with them. We come dead last. We were hopeless. But in the meantime, Braith and Astor sent Mark Hughes out to watch me play. Okay. And we were playing the Sharks at the time. When Mark Hughes came along, the Sharks had Furman, McGoldrick, Youngquest. They were the next big thing in our sort of age group. And I happened to have a pretty good game that game. Chris Anderson offered me a contract to go to the Sharks for a large amount of money. Craig Coleman rang me at TAFE and said, Ren, we're back in the competition. I want you in the top 25. Got 50 grand here for you. And I said, sorry, Tugger, I just signed with the Bulldogs for 5 grand. And that was the best thing I ever did. The best thing I ever did.
50 grand, but you'd signed for 5?
Sharks offered me 50.
Yep.
South offered me 50. I went to Canterbury for 5 grand. Sign-on fee. That was it. Best decision I made, not only for my football career, but the development of me as a person. It was some of the hardest times that I've ever had to deal with on a personal level, physical level, emotional level. I was working a job. I was catching a bus to the city, train to Belmore, get absolutely flogged by Gary Carden, get back on a train, get home by 9:30 at night, eat dinner, go to bed, go back to work. And that created some habits that I needed in my life at that point. I was still very loose off the field. I was still heavily involved with the beach and my social life, which eventually started to weed out of my life.